Hail to the victors, valiant. Hail to the conquering heroes. Hail, hail to Michigan, the leaders and the best. Hail to the valiant. I don't know how that goes.
Victor's Valiant.
Hail to the conquering hero. Oh, there we go. Hail, hail to Michigan, the champions of the
No,
West.
you can't scoff at that end. Redo that, please. Champions of the West. Finish that strong,
No,
please.
I'm laughing. No, I scoffed because I'm laughing at the fact that I used to make fun of that part.
Oh, is ironic laugh. Okay, great. All right, welcome back to the greatest episode of the Scarlet and Blue Show. We This is episode 45. We should have planned that out better to where this would have been episode
Yeah.
44 for team 144, but
Yep.
we didn't, and that's all right. I'm going to tell you now, Garrison, I slept, I had 3 hours of sleep last night. Got in from Houston to Austin at like 2:30, or fell asleep like 2:30, and then had to
Right.
bring my pops to the airport. So energy is low, but enthusiasm is high.
I can relate. I can relate right now. Well, no. Like, I guess I'm a little. I'm not. I'm over in the waning moments of you guys winning the championship. I was low. Then then somehow, some way, 5 minutes later, bro. It's like we say in the old Baptist church. Won't he do it? And boy, did he do it for Ohio State Nation. But today is about you guys, so let's go ahead.
Yeah, what are you even talking about?
Oh, you didn't see the news 5 minutes after the championship game ended?
You're telling me I'm not paying attention to Ohio State news after Michigan just wins the
I know,
national championship?
I mean, a lot of Michigan fans saw it, but you didn't see what happened?
Oh, the running back. Yeah, we can talk about that. We'll talk
No,
about that
but
later.
yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there. We'll get there.
Well, yeah. So you sent me the video of Rich Eisen's response, and if you haven't seen that, I should go watch it. I think though, at the end of the day, a lot of Michigan fans, young and old, share the same response. If you didn't see the last episode we did, I went through a brief history of where Michigan has been and the dark, dark days in recent history that we've been through. And so getting to the national
It was
championship,
very in depth, very in depth.
it was in depth. Getting to the national championship was a huge deal. And then that was before even winning it.
Hmm.
And then we won it. And so I was at the game last night.
How was it?
And
How was it?
it was incredible. It was, I mean, best sporting experience ever. I didn't get to go to the Rose Bowl this year, so I would be very curious to hear if anybody went to both and which game was better. Just because I mean that's the freaking Rose Bowl. And talk about just spoils for the season. Our play-in game was not playing. The semifinal game was the Rose Bowl game. So not only are we national champions, we're also Rose Bowl champions. What a season! What a beautiful season. Are you kidding me?
It's a good way to look at it. It's a
But it was an
good way to
amazing
look at it.
night. NRG, if you've never been there, an awesome stadium. It's very tall and it got so loud. I would say it was probably 65, 70% Michigan fans. And so
That's what it looked like on TV.
yeah, Washington had a section that was pretty loud. They're pretty noisy. But I mean, they were just
Hmm.
engulfed really by the rest of the Michigan fans. I want to give a special shout out to Texas, UT, Longhorns, for two things. One is for having Penix play his best game before us. Thank you for that. Two, for losing because those ticket prices were insane when Texas was still alive. And those ticket prices dropped when Texas lost. So
Yeah.
shout out Horns for taking one for the team for us. But yeah, man, it was loud. It was louder than
Mhm.
Lucas Oil was for the Big Ten championship, and it was cool. It was really cool. And I'll say this, Garrison. I put it. I kind of posted this on social here, but you and I have our favorite teams. Your favorite team is the Ohio State Buckeyes football team. My favorite
Yep.
team is the Michigan Wolverines football team, and then second probably Michigan basketball. But either way, sports fans have their teams, and not very often do sports fans get to see their teams hit the pinnacle. the out like the so whether you're an NFL fan,
Yeah.
very few teams get to see the Super Bowl. NBA, if you like golf, winning the Masters, it's just there are the pinnacles in sports that you just don't always get to see, and there are going to be fans that are going to go their whole lives without ever seeing that.
Yeah.
And like I said, I don't really count the '97 championship for me because I was 5,
And it doesn't
and
exist. And it's just not
it
real.
counts. It counts. It counts. So then to be there last night and of course be 2 hours away from where I live,
Yeah.
it was freaking special, man. It was special. And then on top of all that, with my pops, the
Mm,
guy who's brought me to you introduced me to the game of football, brought me
hmm
to my first game in 2000, indoctrinated me when I was very young and had no choice, which led to a lot of suffering down the road with this fanhood. And then to share that with him, to have Donovan Edwards score that first touchdown, then that second,
hmm
and then we get some stops, and then defense holds, and we'll talk about the game here in a bit. But to have all of that and celebrate that, and then Mike Sanders still picks it off, pretty much seals the game. Blake Corum runs it in. I said this before, proposing to my wife, you know, birth of my children. Those other things are obviously more important, but that Rose Bowl win with the family and then being there last night, we're getting into close to top 5 territory of life right now. And I have 2 kids, so I suppose if more kids come, that'll
Now
probably
we
change.
know. Let's put them all. Let's put birth of your children in one.
Okay, okay. Thank you. Thank you for helping me solve this.
Yeah. Let's put that. Well, okay. So I mean, I honestly I would put Anna in there too. I got think it's kind of tough to separate your kids and your wife. So let's go family
Thank you.
first.
All
Let's
right.
go.
All
Yeah.
right.
Let's go
You
family
helped me out
first.
here. Take these off. These kind of itch.
Oh, Bryce, you forgot about one, Bryce. You
Meeting you.
forgot about one. The first one has to be die for your sins. So it's God, family, football.
Yeah, you're right.
So,
You're right.
so
My
we got that.
father-in-law called me out on that.
Yeah. So Grace, family. Yeah, football's third, buddy, because that's what I got. I got God, family, football in my life.
Amen. Amen.
So, oh, in
So yeah,
America, in America.
sure, in our country, red-blooded Americans. So yeah, dude, let's we can definitely talk about the game, but and I don't know if you have any other initial thoughts to that,
I do,
but
I
it's
do.
just a moment of just sheer joy and jubilation. And I know Michigan fans out there are feeling the same way. I've seen it everywhere, and it's surreal in many ways, given how important this is to us and how much fun we have with this.
Yeah.
It's
No,
real.
Bryce, so when I was sent that to you, I watched it all the way. No, I think I was about halfway through it, and I sent it to you. When I was watching that video of Rich Eisen. When you get a little water eyed, man, I was like, yeah, I understand, bro. I understand it. I understand what you're talking about. I remember, man, uh, 2005, 2006 was my first year playing football, and the year before that, I was third grade. I think I told you before. I want to play. I really wasn't just tough enough to play the game. Next year was fourth grade. My first year playing football. My dad's coaching me. Um, There's a freshman running back that comes to Ohio State named Maurice Claret. So I'm indoctrinating myself into football. My dad's indoctrinating me into football, and then there's this other running back who's just like me playing running back, and he's really really good. And I didn't figure out until my first game of the year. My first game ever, Bryce, was at Caledonia in fourth grade. First play, man, I run over some kid. I hear my mom screaming in the stands, and then she realized, oh, my son can play football. But I remember that year, like going undefeated as a kid. No, 5-1 as a kid, losing to Rockford. But in that same year, Ohio State goes to actually first, Bryce, East Kenwood is just the top 5 team in the nation. That's background check for East Kenwood. And they go to the state championship. That same year, Bryce, South Christian wins the state championship, posted the same. Who was
Yep.
his jersey? What was his name, Bryce, with the jersey number? He had died that season. They scored the same amount of points as jersey number 2 games in a row in the
Oh,
playoffs.
yeah. I can't remember.
Yeah, but I mean, like I ended up finding out that South Christian does that year, but then Bryce Ohio State wins the national championship that year. So it's things like that I hold tight to. So I understand what you're saying, man. It's just we connect our whole being to these football programs. We really do. And it sounds crazy. It does. It does. I love this game. I love that. I love my program as much as I know you do. So yeah. I
Yeah,
get it,
it's
man.
just
I get
it's
it, man. I get it.
priorities got to be in line, of course, but it is fun. My wife sent the video of us celebrating to her family, and so she's like, "Yeah, I know it's pretty excessive and pretty crazy." But then her mom's response, my mother-in-law's response was, she's like, "Yeah, but how many things in our life can we get that excited for? Like, good for
Oh,
them. That's awesome."
oh
I was like, "You're
man,
right."
that's real. That's real, man. Bryce, I've taking family aside, Bryce. I don't know many things I get more excited than Ohio State football. I don't.
It's fun. It's
I
fun.
don't. I don't. So
So let's go. If you bear with me here, I just want to reflect on the season. It won't be that long. It won't go as long as the history dating back
as
25
you did the
years.
other day,
Yeah, yeah.
3 minutes.
Well, yeah, yeah. We'll see how this goes. But I was just thinking a lot about this season and the players, and
Mm.
you everything that happened this year, and whatever rivals can say, oh, it's all self inflicted, and we can talk about that later. I'm sure we'll talk about that more later.
Another day.
Another day. But I mean, you start the preseason off with like the whole cheeseburger gate, and then you have this suspension, and Harbaugh's out for 3 games, and he's going to appeal them. He's bringing in, coaches for different games,
Hmm.
and trying to figure out what they're gonna do there, even though they're playing really inferior opponents. Like, so you open up with week 1, hot passing start against ECU.
Yeah.
JJ goes for, let's see, he goes for 26 and 30, 280, 3 touchdowns. Roman has 3 touchdown catches as well, 6 catches. And so my hot take of the season with Roman being a day 1 or day 2 pick was off to a great start. It turned out ECU finished 2-10. Did you know that? They were
No.
they were very
Uh,
bad this year.
it was Bryce. It was the worst out of conference schedule in the P5.
Yeah, yeah, it was. Well, we made up for it at the end of the year. And
Yeah.
then,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yep, UNLV, who's a decent team, and then you go to and then so then you get to Bowling Green, man. So you got this night game against Bowling Green, and it's just like, what are we doing playing Bowling Green in the night slot?
Yeah.
And we're wearing the big game blues, which felt disrespectful. And that was when JJ throws 3 picks, terrible picks. Social media was having a field day. Which, by the way, Bowling Green finished 7-6 with a 6-point loss to Minnesota in the Quicken Loans Bowl. So good team. We have them respect. But
Average,
you had
mediocre.
that game, and then that was Sharon Moore's first coaching or first game being at the helm. The next week you got Rutgers, which is kind of like the first test. Harbs comes
Mhm.
back. You win 31-7, but you're only up 14-7 at half. But that was only because of that one play at the first quarter. And then you kind of get a taste of how good this defense is because they're holding Kyle Monungai to 2.5 yards a carry. So he only had
But that's because Rutgers can't throw the ball, so they knew you were in. Come on, context.
it's the first, like the second play of the game was 75-yard touchdown.
It was a slant.
It was a slant. It was a good play. It was a good play.
True
And
enough,
Rutgers finished 7-5 and beat the mighty Miami Hurricanes.
but one of the worst passing teams in the nation.
Okay, that's not important.
Okay.
And
My
then
fault, Bryce. Go ahead,
and
buddy.
this was the point. Well, this is the point of the season that's feeding into what you're saying now is how good is
Um,
this team? And a lot of questions were being asked because you haven't really played anybody. So then you go to
yep.
Nebraska, play that first road test, kill them
Mhm.
45-7. Um, Wilson had those 2 touchdowns, one of those amazing catches. Again, my hot take of Wilson being a day 1, day 2 pick was looking good here. Uh oh, and that was also the game I got noted here. That was the game that Urban Meyer predicted that Nebraska would win. And that was the first time I saw him being a clown on TV and realized that
What was Nebraska's record at the time? 3-1.
no, they lost to,
It was a trap game. It was a trap game to an extent.
I think they were 2-3 because they lost to Colorado, Minnesota. Maybe they're 3-2, 2-2, I don't know, something like that.
Okay. Okay.
Um, so then they came out hot. They look good. People were making arguments that Michigan should jump Georgia. They should be number 1. Then they go into Minnesota, go to Minneapolis. blow the doors off of the Gophers 52-10, two pick sixes by Will Johnson and Keon Sabb. And that was,
Hmm.
of course, Flex quote where he says, I think they're the best football team I've seen in my 11 years of being a head coach. I've never seen a football team like that deep.
Did he say that he's played
The
or
direct
coached
quote is never
against?
seen a
Coached against?
football team like that deep.
Yeah, and that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Well, the national
'Cause,
champion. He has the foresight.
no, I mean we can have this conversation another day, but I do want to run through all the teams that this team wouldn't beat since 2000 of all the
Oh, that'd be a
championships.
fun conversation. Well, let's table that one.
Hmm.
Um, and then you got Indiana. I'm getting to the point here. But then you have Indiana, who is just a dumpster fire.
Hmm.
They finished. I was looking this up. They finished 3-9. They fired the offensive coordinator before the Michigan game, and then of course Tom Allen lost his job at the end of the year.
Right.
Then after that, Thursday, October 19th, Ross Dellinger launches the article, hits publish on the Yahoo article about the sign stealing debacle, and this is where it all begins. All of a sudden, everyone, including you and I, thought we were NCAA rules experts, legal analysts.
That was you. I was just giving
Oh yeah,
some perspective
uh-huh.
of
Perspective.
past. The best way to tell the future is to study the past. So I was giving past situations that have happened. That's all I was doing.
Yeah, they were not one for one. It's all interpretation of the law, which we agreed on, right,
Did
Garrison?
we? Did we?
We can't forget the manifesto too.
I still want to read it. I really do.
I bet it's a work of art. He's
I
on his
bet.
way.
I bet you that would go New York. Bet like New York Times
Oh, that
bestseller.
would crush.
It it would.
That would crush.
Even though
Um,
even though it's got some vibes with the manifesto, but
it's not necessarily. It's just obsessive nature.
well, it sounds like Mein Kampf. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, probably a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
All that leads up into the Michigan State game. And mind you, this is a Michigan State football team that lost their coach because he can't keep it in his pants.
No, he got eight
So,
thousand dollars, the most expensive $8 million phone call of all time.
like they're going through that. They got this really nice dude at the coach. What was his name? Or what was his name again?
I don't know.
Oh, I'm blanking on his name. He's got glasses.
I'll
Seems like
tell
a
you
nice
what.
dude.
I'll tell you what. Michigan State is what probably the first Big Ten school to ever hire two black coaches in a row.
They didn't really hire this
But
guy.
I mean, technically, when the record book shows, it's gonna say his name.
Yeah. Well, no. So, well,
Interim head coach.
Mike Hart was a head coach for week 2. Sharon Moore was head coach for week 3. So they actually
Yeah,
beat
but
Michigan.
the school has its own. I guess schools are allowed to place where the wins go. Every single win still went to Harbaugh's win loss record. Whereas like say Ryan Day when he goes those 3 games for Urban Meyer, the school decided to give Ryan Day the wins. Michigan decided to give Jim Harbaugh the wins, which I think is cowardice, but
I don't think that's true. We'll
they
have to
did.
fact check
No,
that.
no, I asked a few Michigan fans and they confirmed it. This is over a month ago, right? So I confirmed this with some Michigan fans because they're the ones who told me because
Yeah.
I called him 2-5. They said no, technically he's 3-5.
Yeah.
And then I looked it up.
All right, we'll see. We'll see. I'm sure it's agreed upon within the coach staff. All right, so then we get to the bye week. And if you remember the bye week, the sign stealing was still crazy. It was
Hmm.
still like the talk of the town. Purdue comes to town. Ryan Walters, I think is his name, is the coach of Purdue. He's got some snide remarks to say. We beat them 41-13. Michigan schedules just been that easy. And so you get all these stories and opinion pieces on a lot of this. All the media pundits are talking about it, and you're getting newer stuff like remember the story of the ex college football staffer sharing the docs with Michigan, showing that other Big Ten teams had Michigan signs too.
Yeah,
And
but
then
that
there's
wasn't
also that
illegal.
call amongst ADs and coaches as well. I
Yeah,
think.
that happened. That did
Yep.
happen.
Like all this has all happened. Like remember how this was all going on?
Well,
And
it's
then
still
Michigan
going
came
on.
after us.
It's still going on. It's just in the backseat right now. But no, hellfire and brimstone is coming your way.
No, it's not. We But then the big deal was the first college football playoff rankings. Those get released, and we talked about it on the show.
And who on this show said that they would not stop Michigan from being ranked? Who said it, Bryce?
You
This
said it.
guy. You
You
were
said
all
it.
you were all oh,
I was
yeah.
worried. I was worried. I could see
I
them not
wasn't.
including, but
That'd
we
be
came in.
preposterous.
I'm glad it worked. We came in at number 3. You
Mm-hmm.
guys were at number 1. And then this is where things started just to get absolutely nutty. And this is where I felt bad for the players because whether they knew it or not, this sucks. But we're on the flight to Happy Valley, and that snake coward scumbag commissioner.
Urban Meyer. Oh, what?
Yeah, him too. Same names, same rules apply.
Shut up.
Tony Petiti announces that Harbaugh is going to be suspended for 3 games
Mm-hmm.
while on the plane. So the guys to watch the game from the hotel. Of course, that leads to Michigan running the ball 23 straight times. Finish the game 24-15. Famous interview afterwards. Garrison, if you want to reenact it, go ahead.
No, it's sad seeing a strong black man look like that on television. I'm not gonna reenact that
Wow, is
buffoonery.
vulnerability not strength?
Not that's not vulnerability. What I
That's
saw in that
disgusting.
was complete set. That was Jussie Smollett type of acting. That was disgusting.
Wow.
That was disgusting.
I'm not going to speak on that, but that's disgusting in and of
That was
itself
no
when you say that.
that was disgusting. To watch a grown man look like that on national television about another man. Like that guy got shot in Compton. That was disgusting.
All right, so then Michigan gets to the last game of the season, the trap game at Maryland. I was listening to Sam Webb last night on the way home, and apparently JJ could barely walk in the second, like at halftime in the locker room, and so he was real banged up the last 3 weeks of the season, and so a heroic effort from him there, and then of course cannot understate and undervalue Mikey Sanders Stills just play, and we're going to talk about him here about and just what he means to Michigan. But 2 picks in that game, which also you could, in many ways, just kind of guarantee that Talia is going to throw those picks, so you can almost plan on that.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course we get to the game, which was an awesome game, and I want to get your thoughts on Ohio State a little bit here because it's
Watching that was disgust. Watching that pissed me off last night. Not necessarily you guys winning. Watching
oh
Washington
I
piss me
bet
off.
I bet let's talk about that in a second because I do want to ask you because you guys you put up 24 points on our defense. Bama was lucky to
With
put up
with with, with
20.
the Syracuse quarterback.
Yeah. Yeah. So and you guys are in our house and
Yeah, lost by
the game
six.
came down to the 2 picks and the fourth down attempts and conversions.
To lose by
So
six. To lose by
lose by
six.
6. And so to have that, and then we go to Iowa, and then everything else is recent history, man. But I'm just so daggone proud of this football team. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know any of them personally, but just as again fans here and seeing a lot of stuff on social media and flying around, just so proud of these kids and pump for them, pump for all the players who came before. I tweeted it out just now, but just seeing guys like Chuck Filiaga, seeing guys like Andrel Anthony tweet at the team just shows that there is a brotherhood there, that even when you leave, you're still part of the family, still Wolverine. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's just is really cool to see and just fired up for the boys, man. Fired up for the boys. So we can talk about last night, but I just think highlighting and emphasizing what those guys went through this last year and to come out as national champions make a grown man cry.
Yeah, man. I mean, I don't. I mean, I'll just speak to the Ohio State side of it. I'll do that. It wasn't too long after the game. You said on here, Garrison, I think Ohio State still one of the top 4 teams in the nation, and I agreed with you on that. It's funny. I put a pull up. I said that last night, Bryce. I said there's one thing I learned in this game is that Ohio State was one of the top 4 teams in the country. And a lot of Michigan fans, some Michigan fans disagree with me, some agree with me. A lot disagree with me. And some other fans, some other fan bases like Alabama or Texas. I said, and maybe Texas would have been a better matchup for you guys. Just just matchup wise, it would have been no because well they have two first round defensive tackles. That's why. Like they have probably this. They have this
Yeah,
one of
better
the
running
top,
game, probably.
but they have one of the top five D lines in the country. That's why it would have been.
Yeah.
It was a better matchup. But I thought no one impressed me after watching Washington against Michigan. After watching Alabama against you guys, it's just frustrating because yeah, we had a chance to beat you guys. It didn't happen. It is what it is. But I think without question, Georgia and Ohio State would have beat every single team in that playoff. I understand Alabama beat Georgia, but we all know what happened with some BS. I think those two schools, those two teams this year would have beaten every single team in that playoff. Michigan throws a coin in the air. Um,
Yeah, I get that you say that. That's fine.
but
I respect
like
that.
I would
But
like I'm not even mad about you guys winning. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like how a lot of Ohio State fans are upset about Michigan winning the championship. Listen, bro, I say this all the time. Everything regresses to the mean. If you thought you were going to go 30 years without seeing Michigan maybe even make it to a national championship game, you're stupid. So, because
yeah,
history, not even history would say that would happen. So, um,
yeah, but like,
go
who's
ahead,
the
go ahead.
clearly the best team in the country this year?
I don't, I don't
Oh,
know.
you stinker. You, I
No, no,
respect
no,
it.
no,
I
no,
respect
no,
it, but
no.
you're
And the reason I'm saying that, Bryce, I was watching the Cover Three podcast, and they gave the same sentiment. And they said this year they didn't see any juggernauts. I didn't see a juggernaut team this year, Bryce. I didn't see one from anyone. I think. I mean, Bryce. Hold up a second. We can go into depth some other time. I'm just gonna say like three teams, and you let me know if you actually honestly think your team beats them. 2019 LSU. Do you think your team beats them? Yes or no? Off the rip, yes or no?
well, I'm talking about this year, but do
No,
they
no,
beat
no,
the
no.
2019?
I'm making the point that there's no that, like they said there's no juggernaut, and that's why they said you
Yeah, but
forget.
I think the 2019 LSU team is one of the greatest teams ever to play this game.
I don't, and so and your team went 15 and no, and even in that, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily saying that you guys are not the top. If you want to be, you have proven yourself to be the best team from start to finish this year. Actually, yes, my first note. I have my notes right here to the right, Bryce. I have it right here. First note: Michigan dominated start to finish, and I meant that in the season, and I meant that in the game. At the same time, watching the teams play, do I know for a fact that you guys are neutral for being Alabama? No. After we played you guys, I still said,
Wait,
out.
what? Hold on, what?
I'm not Alabama, Georgia,
I was gonna like that happened.
Yeah, yeah, I'm Georgia. And then I mean, even after we played you guys that next episode, I said, I didn't come out of this thing. You guys are just a better team than us. I think we had two turnovers. You guys were at home. Like I said that right after the game. So at the same time, though, I am able to show respect to Michigan and what they did this season and going 15-0 because that is not easy. And if it was easy, a lot of teams would do it before that.
All right,
If it was
I
easy,
appreciate that.
if it was that easy, a lot of teams would do it before that. And I'm gonna give credit where credit is due. Like I told you about, I love this game more than I love my own team, more than I love my own program. So I'm not gonna sit here and say a team with 15-0 and just poo-poo it. Now, if I want to have like an actual conversation about where they land, fine.
And we'll talk about that later. That's a fun conversation.
They are 15-0. You beat Penn State in Happy Valley.
Yep.
In Happy Valley, you beat Ohio State, who I'm gonna be honest, them being the AP ranking them 10th in
Yeah.
FSU after getting donkey punched
That was
at
dumb.
6.
That was dumb.
Because I'm like, forget people say, oh, well, how about Missouri? Don't be that daft. Come on. But no, Bryce. Like I said, man. I have all respect to your team, Bryce. I called any close friend on my phone that I have, Lawson, Mike, Spence, Darvinder, Cooley, you, Nate. I called a lot of them. I simply called them, Bryce, just to say, hey, man, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's why I called you at first, but you were too busy partying up in NRG.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I couldn't really hear you. It's a little noisy in there. I will say, from just a rivalry, and this comes out of a place of respect, having beating you guys and eliminated you from the playoff in this 14 format made it even sweeter. Like everything about this season was just deliciously tasteful. Like it mix in beating you guys,
mhm.
automatically eliminating you from the playoff, whether right or
Yep.
wrong, going to the Rose Bowl, winning the Rose Bowl, beating an SEC team, which I think beating the SEC team offers a little bit of validity, a little bit more validity to this. Like I think if we beat the Texas or we beat a TCU the first round and then we had a Washington the second round,
Yeah,
you don't get a taste of the SEC. I think people are gonna be like, oh, you had an easy route. So I think getting Bama was huge, and just everything about
it
this year
is. It is.
is
It
huge.
is. Ohio State had the same thing, Bryce. We had to get past Bama in
Yeah,
in the semifinal. You
as
do that.
the 24 the way that this 4 team started and way that it ended with the Big Ten team beating Alabama and then playing the Pac-12 champion
That's
with
I.
it's eerily similar.
You know I'm not a conference guy. You know I'm not a conference guy.
No,
I hope you all fail and your programs and campuses fall into the middle of the earth.
likewise.
SEC fans, please understand this now.
Yes.
You
Yes.
had your run. In the middle of this whole thing, you had your run. Even the ACC, I'm sorry, even the ACC got a few championships.
Oh,
But
Clemson,
please,
just Clemson.
thank you. Yeah, just Clemson. Please understand this. The greatest program of all time in history is Nick Saban's Alabama squad. It's the greatest SEC squad of all time. But please understand, the college football playoff era it did start with a Big Ten team beating Nick Saban in Alabama and winning the Natty, and it will end as a Big Ten team beating Nick Saban in Alabama and then winning a Natty. And not well, unless the NCAA says something to say about that, nothing will take that away. It starts and ends with us.
Yes.
So I'm not a conference guy, Bryce, but I do take pride in knowing that.
There you go.
I hate the SEC. I hate everything about them. It makes my blood boil.
There you go.
So
There you go. Yeah, the whole SEC,
talk
what's
about a
meant for them.
cult. Talk about a
It's
cult.
it's just having Missouri chant SEC after the game
Gross,
made
gross.
me just like, what are we doing? Because I'm with you, man. I want you guys to fall off the face of the earth. Like I want you to lose every game. That it's simple as that. There's no.
I
Although
promise
if
you.
I see Purdue win the Quicken Lanes Bowl, I'll be fired up for them.
Yeah. No. Smaller teams are different. Like Northwestern. Yeah.
Yeah,
But I mean, like I told Missouri fans, I said if Cal McCoy and Marvin Harrison played that game, we're beating you guys by double-digit points. I promise you.
yeah,
I promise you.
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
So I mean,
Hey, let's anything. Yeah, we run out of time here. I have one question I want to
yeah,
ask. I want to
we got
close
five
with,
minutes still.
but I mean, from the game, we talked about a little bit. I think the offense or the defense is just absolutely elite, elite. Penix, the guy went.
He missed some open throws,
He
man.
missed.
He
Dude, he was off,
two
and
at 2 or 3 touchdowns.
2 or 3 touchdowns, and he hit those guys on the mark, on the hands against Texas, and throughout the rest of the season against Oregon, a couple times, both games. And the pressure just, I think, got to him or made the lights too bright. I don't know, whatever it was. Jesse Minter's schemes were so impressive. I know you've got something you want to say about Jesse, but I thought last night when it was 20-13, I was like, we need to score because they're going to score. Turns out that then wasn't the reality. They were stuck at 13, but I was just that defense. I'm so impressed with. So please go ahead and praise Jesse for me.
I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna just read you my notes I have from the game. Like I said, Michigan dominated start to finish, season and the game. Put a few hiccups, but there was never doubt. Quotations defense. JJ did not play a good game at all, but probably made the biggest play of the game. Third down,
Third and
Bryce.
8.
Biggest
Yep.
play of the game. Biggest play
Flip
of
the
the game.
field.
Biggest play. Bryce, in my mind, Bryce, I said, man, if you keep giving, because you guys should be up by 35 points by this point.
Oh, yep.
But I'm like, if you give this ball back, I don't know if you keep giving the ball back to Penix, how many like turns do you have?
Yeah.
And then I put Diamond's touchdowns on broken plays, but somewhat happy for the guy. Happy for him. I've been tough on him all season, so I will
Yeah.
give him if
Yeah.
my praise will be as high, will be as tough as my criticism was, or as high as my criticism was. Will Johnson interception, insane. Corum legacy cemented. Um,
These are great notes. I
and
will also add,
Jesse Minter, Jerome Moore is a college coach. Jesse Minter's an NFL coach.
yeah, that's a great way to put it.
That's an NFL coach.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, he's
And
been running NFL
Bryce,
schemes.
and I need the last 20 seconds of the show.
Okay.
At least
Let me add one
yeah.
thing to that, and I'll let you have that. I if you want to have a objective, honest conversation about JJ McCarthy, I am telling you now, you will not be able to have that with me. I will do nothing but praise the kid. And so we can talk about that why, but everything he's done for this
We will
program.
have that. We're gonna have that talk soon about him actually as a player. Forget the wins
I,
as a
I will
player.
not say anything bad about the kid ever. And you
I
can
didn't
call
say
me.
it's not called bad. It's called critiquing. That's not
Nope.
bad.
I will not negatively critique him. I cannot, I will not. I know Phil Mays, Madman, and others will gladly do it. We can have him on and I'll sit and watch, but I can't say anything bad about the kid.
So you can't have
Sorry.
an honest conversation. You can't have an honest football conversation.
He's meant way too much to this program for me to ever publicly criticize.
Bryce.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Garrison.
Ezekiel Elliott has done just as much of this Ohio State program, and even I have been critical of him and some of his games at Ohio State. What are you talking about?
No, we'll talk about it later. We'll talk about it later. But go ahead. The
Okay.
floor. All right, 20 seconds because I got one more thing. God, we don't have enough time in these episodes.
Yeah. But I am a man that pays his debts.
Oh,
I am a man who
yeah.
pays his debts.
Yes. Oh, we should have led with this. I'm going to edit it and flip it over.
Go ahead, Bryce. And you're not gonna like the way I sing it. I don't care.
I need some enthusiasm.
Hail to the victors, valiant. Hail to the conquering heroes. Hail to Michigan, the leaders and the best. Hail to the valiant. I don't know how that goes.
Victor's Valiant.
Hail to the conquering hero. Oh, there we go. Hail to Michigan, the champions of the
No,
West.
you can't scoff at that end. Redo that, please. Champions of the West. Finish that strong, please.
Now I'm laughing. Now I scoffed because I'm laughing at the fact that I used to make fun of that part
Oh, is ironic laugh. Okay. Very
because
good.
you've never been champions, not since North in 1948.
But
Hey, congrats, Bryce. Congrats on your first um outright championship since 1948.
let's go. Go blue.
OH.